1. Listen and choose the word as you hear. Night and day around the Milky Way. Every day aboard a space shuttle is different in many ways, but you're always busy up there, said crew member Leroy Chow when we asked him to tell us about a typical day on a mission in orbit. Good morning, every morning. Mission Control wakes the crew up with music at exactly 6:41 p.m. CST Central Standard Time. That's the same time that people in Chicago use. The pieces of music are always different. For example, they might wake up to a traditional Japanese song one day and a new American rock song the next. After that, they have a couple of hours to wash, have breakfast, and get the morning messages from Mission Control. Washing isn't easy in space, and it's impossible to have a shower. So the crew wash themselves with a wet sponge. Shaving is also a difficult task up there. So the men have to use special space razors. Let's get busy. At around 8:45 p.m. CST, the crew starts work. Most of the time, they work on projects involving satellites and the shuttle itself. They also take photos of their activities and the view from the shuttle to send home. Each day, there are also 2 6-hour spacewalks. We have between 8 and 10 minutes to do each task, says Leroy. So we have to work very closely and help each other. The crew take a short break for lunch during the afternoon. They need a lot of energy, so they eat a lot of food. According to NASA, the crew's special meals are tasty and very good for them. After lunch, they go back to work until around 8:45 a.m. CST. Astronauts need to rest, too, fortunately. It's not all work and no play aboard the space shuttle, says Leroy. In the evening, we all have a couple of hours to have dinner and relax. Most of us read and send our personal email in this free time. But we also like to read books or listen to music. Sometimes we sit by the window and admire the Earth and the stars. After that, at exactly 10:41 a.m. CST, it's time for the crew to go to bed, while Mission Control and the shuttle's computers take over for the night.
Two. Listen and fill in what John does at the following times. Can you guess his job? You're listening to What's My Job? And with us today is John Smith. Welcome to the show, John.
Hello.
John's going to tell us about his daily routine, while you listen carefully for clues to find out what his job is. The first caller to give the correct answer wins 2 tickets for tonight's concert at the Pala. So, John, are you ready?
Of course. Well, my day starts very early. You see, I live a long way from where I work, so I usually wake up at about 5 o'clock.
Ooh, that is early, isn't it?
Oh, I don't mind. Anyway, the first thing I do is have a shower. Then at around 6 o'clock, I have breakfast.
What time do you leave the house?
At about 7:15. No, sorry. At about 6:45. I leave the house at 6:45 and catch the bus to work. I haven't got a car. You see, I usually get to work by 8 o'clock or so. Lessons start at 8:30 and last until 1:30.
What happens then?
Well, at 1:30, I have lunch. Then it's back to work again. At 4:30, I finish work and take the bus home.
What time do you usually get home?
By about 6:15.
That's a long day. At least you can relax in the evening, though.
Not really. In the evenings, I prepare my lessons for the next day. Then I have dinner around 8:15. After dinner, I sometimes go out and meet friends. Or stay at home and read a book. I never go to bed before 11 o'clock.
Thank you, John. Well, there you are now. It's your turn. What job does John do? The number to call is 3367897. And remember, the first caller.
Hi, my name's George. I'm married to Joan, and we have two children, Tony and Lynn. They both want to go to university. So I need to work hard to pay for their education. I love my job, but it can be tiring. London is a big city, and I need to know all of it. I don't start work until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I usually stop for a break at about 8 o'clock in the evening to have a snack and a cup of coffee. It's not easy to eat healthily when you drive all day. I rarely finish before 2 in the morning, and I don't go to bed before 3. I get up again about midday, and then I have breakfast. I don't have much free time. And I never go out in the evenings as I work almost every night. I can't take a holiday, either. Because then I won't get paid, but I enjoy the work. I wouldn't do it otherwise.
Hello, I'm Barbar. I'm 21 years old and I live on Staten Island, which is about 5 kilometers from New York. I leave home around 8 and catch the ferry at 8:15. The journey only takes about 25 minutes and I usually read a book, so it goes very fast. It's also very cheap because a lot of people travel from the island to the city to work. I reach New York at about 8:40, and then I take the subway to Wall Street, where I work. I get to the office around 8:55, just before my boss arrives. I type letters, answer phone calls, and arrange meetings. After work, I sometimes stay in the city and go to the cinema or have dinner with friends. The last ferry leaves at 10:30, so I never go home really late. At weekends, I often go to the theater.
My name is Natasha and I live in Moscow, in Russia. I have a large family, 3 sisters and 2 brothers. They live with my parents on a farm in the country. Every day, I get up early in the morning to do some exercises before breakfast. After breakfast, I have ballet classes until lunchtime. In the afternoon, I go to the theater to practice until the show starts. I finish at about 10:30, then I go home, have a late dinner, then I go to bed. I don't do much at the weekend because I am always so tired. I'd like to visit my family regularly, but they live so far away. It takes almost 5 hours to get there by train. Sadly, I don't see them very often.